mi gente que pasa? Hello, hello. Happy terrific Thursday. I am Yessi Rodriguez, host and producer of Hoy En Día TV. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing, terrific Thursday. Yes. And as per usual, I'm going to bring on my amazing co-hosts. We have Dr. C. Andrew, the actionist, and the amazing Nadine. Hello. Both of them are amazing, actually. But, I had to be a little so swaglicious with the word today. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Hey, y'all.
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing my best to push forward. So, audience, I'm not feeling the greatest. So, if y'all see me a little weird, acting a little strange, just because I'm not feeling good, but I'm trying to push through, right? Because the show must go on. This is what happens when you have these types of productions, right? It's just like, regardless of how you feel, you got to figure it out. And thankfully, I have two amazing co-hosts that help me pull that weight because they can help me fill in the blanks. So, yes. Well, we have another week. Can you believe it's already mid-July? I feel like we snapped our fingers. Like the other day, weren't we just celebrating the 4th of July? And now we're already literally, it's 7:16. Like what's going on with the time?
Yeah, it's moving pretty quickly. And I just want to get over July already.
I feel you, sis. You know what's interesting? The other day, I came across a post. I think honestly it was on Instagram where it says, when you hit 40, time moves even faster. I know, would you all agree with that based on your experience and where you are numerically?
40 where? I'm not in my 40s.
I was not trying to tell your age. I was trying to beat around the bush about it.
But I know. I'm like in my 30s. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, excuse me. That was a good one. Okay. So 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever age. Do you feel like just in general, as you age numerically each year, does time seem to go by faster? For me, I say yes.
I don't know. I think so, maybe. I mean, some months is slower than some, so,
Okay.
Yeah, I think, because we're more mature women now, in your 20s, you're just living La Vida Loca and you are just trying to figure out life, just figure things out. And, I think because our minds aren't as mature, it seems like we have all this time, but I believe the time is moving equally as fast as we know it is, right? No matter what age you are. But now that we are in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and all the things, right? We're more aware, we're more mature. So it's like you see time differently. It's like we respect time now. And we know that time, it's not forever. But when you're like 19, 20, 25 years old, you're like, man, I have all the time in the world. And really you don't. That's when you really should be hustling. I was just talking to the Lord the other day, I was talking to Jesus, right? I was telling the Lord, I was like, look, now that we're more mature in age and we know what life is about, we've lived, we kind of got more established and all the things about the relationships and all the things, right? I was like, now I feel like our body should be like at the best of the best and not breaking all down, right? With joint pains and all the stuff, right? I think we should be living our best lives now because we really wasted, not all of the, 19, 20-year-olds, not all of them, but the vast majority, high majority, right? But they just wasted. But now since I know where I'm going, I got all my stuff, I want like that mobility, that flexibility, that strength, like all of the vigor, And I'm like, we should have that back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we need to get some upgrade on body parts and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? There should be a grace extended. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to negotiate with them. Okay. You guys got to send the prayers up to audience YouTube. Send the prayers up,
Hey, tell them to send you back to the 90s.
What you say, Nadine?
Tell him to send you back to the 90s.
Yeah. Now, between the 80s and 90s, I will say that was a really nice fashion era. So you know what? The 30s was kind of dope too, though, with like the Great Gatsby type of thing. I like that from a fashion perspective. I like that. Yeah.
So
I know, right?
Right. In your past life, you lived in the 30s.
Yeah. 80s was great. I look back, on all the eras, in 80s, and it was great. Those were the eras I grew up in, and it was awesome. And it's fun. And the music is still around. Even today, the music is still around. I don't know like how some of this new millennial music, if it's going to be around, I don't think it is, right? I don't think it's going to last. But you even have music like from like my parents' era that's still around today. You know what I'm saying? It just goes. It moves with the passage of time. And I think that's like real, music that people can really kind of get into versus a lot of this. My mom calls it the hippity hop music that we listen to now. Music now, even I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is, but it's like making my ears bleed. I'm like, please stop. You know what I'm saying? They're not talking about anything. They're not singing about anything. It's just the beat and just saying dumb stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah, some of that music is garbage. I don't even know, like, and then you know what's really sad is that a lot of young people tune into that, and then I wonder, like, how, why, right? Like, how does that happen?
Because that's what they're used to.
I know,
I
but
think it's the beat. The beat of the music, I think, is very hypnotic. Like the beat, because sometimes I've listened to music and I'm like, it's a good beat. And then my husband's even called me out, on some things, in times past. And he was like, do you know what you're listening to? And I'm not even listening to the words. I'm just liking the beat. I'm just boom, 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 and it's saying all the expletives and all the, and I'm just like, it's just, I'm just in it's like, so I'm like, ooh, now I'm listening to the message of this. This is pretty awful. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, gotta turn this off. Can't listen to that anymore.
yeah, I feel you. I was like that with a lot of Cardi B's music. Like I like her beats, but some of them lyrics is a lot of B's and F's, and I'm like, oh gosh, okay, man, potty mouth for real. Her beats are dope, but some of the lyrics I'll be like, oh, okay, a little questionable, but it's all good, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. So tell me, since the last time we connected, what have you all been up to? Nadine, I know we missed you last week, so let's start with you, ma'am.
Me, I just been working, grinding, doing auditions and just focusing on me and focusing on life. That's about it.
Oh, yes. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. How about you,
Well, for me, I have been working with Slay the Scene Academy with you, Yessie Rodriguez. Woo-hoo-hoo. And just this past weekend, it was so much fun. We were out doing my model walk, right? You showed me the modeling thing. So we're doing, for my training, we're doing acting and modeling. So it's really, really super exciting. So for those of you that are interested in modeling or acting or doing all the things, right, you got to definitely check out Slay the Scene Academy because I got stellar training. So we were out at the Dorothea Dix Park, which is a very beautiful park, by the way. And people were sitting on benches and families were walking with their babies in strollers and all that stuff. But we had the camera set up and I had the shoes and everything. And we did our thing. I even had the poise stick, right? You got to put on the poise stick behind those arms, right? To kind of keep that posture upright. And it was a lot of fun. And even though, we do the show here, with Yessie and everything, and I know her, she's my friend, she's my family and stuff like that. I was still nervous, y'all. But she was such an amazing coach. And just taking you literally like step by step, even like counting out my cadence when I'm walking. You know what I'm saying? So that was super cool and super awesome. And just going through. And I eventually kind of loosened up a little bit. And I have a little bit of a hip injury. You guys heard me talk about my hip injury before. So I couldn't really sway it, give it that sway. Like I was, you got to sway those hips, you know what I'm saying? So I was doing the best I could with this crippled hip. But we finally got it, kind of pushed through and all of that stuff. And so I just want to say I had so much fun. That was such a treat. Just being out there, y'all, it was hot. So I was sweating, but she brought water for us. Like how considerate, right? Super nice, super awesome. And so I just had a great time. So again, if you want to get your career in acting and modeling and all the things kicked off, right? Check out Slay the Scene Academy with Yessie Rodriguez. You will not regret it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you. And, I enjoyed you too. You're such a quick study. And even that short amount of time that we were together, I can see the difference recording you from like when you came to like even the end. You were on it. So, and I'm doing that on purpose. I'm recording it because I want you to see your progress as well, because I'm proud of your progress, but I want you to see it as well. And so people understand that when you really put your mind into something that you really want to do and are passionate about, you can do it regardless of what, right? So I'm super proud of you for just your progress. And also just even taking the virtual classes for modeling. It's not just about looking pretty and posing. Like I've been mentoring you with the model bag, with what you have to do with your presentation, etiquette, all of that is important. And a lot of people don't realize that. I've come across individuals, actors and models who come to set and they think that they're the hottest thing since sliced bread. It's like, bam, sir, sit down somewhere. Like that's not professional, right? You always show up with poise and humble and be grateful because it's an opportunity for you to show who you are. You don't want the first impression and this is just me making a general statement about individuals I've come across, for people to be like, whoa, well, why is that person like that, right? Like, no, you want to be somebody that people can be like, you know what? I love Sandra. She's amazing. I can work with her. She has a great personality. Not, ooh, that person. Why is Peter like that? Why is Tommy like? You don't want to be the person. So just saying, educate yourself. In a nutshell, what I'm trying to say in a long spiel is being educated with modeling, with acting, with the industry is definitely important. So sign up for Slay the Scene Academy. I mean, hey, you heard it here with CC. She has a great experience. And I love the people I work with, especially when they show that drive, that dedication, that passion to truly want to learn and understand. You're going to get far. You are going to get far. Like I always say, the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless, right? Hey.
Yeah, some people show up to set and they're not humble at all.
Girl, I remember you telling me a couple of them horror stories about your experience, ma'am. About the lady that kept talking, or the man, or whoever, somebody kept talking about themselves. Like, oh, have you seen me on this, and this, and this, and this, and this? And I'm like, what? And that, and that. I've come across people like that too. And that, I'm like, okay, well, good for you. I'm super happy for you. But right now, let's focus because we have to work. We have lines we got to remember, a lot of dialogue to say, right? We got to be a character. We have to sell ourselves first before you're this and this and this and this and that. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. That's what got you here. But now we got to focus on here. I mean, I'm just saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, lovies. Well, I know we have an amazing guest waiting for us behind the scenes, but I'm just gonna get to it right away here. So I know last week we started talking about the Nolan Wells case, and this is something I'm closely following. I'm even having Alex, my AI, keeping tabs on it. So every time there's an update, he like pings me. So as of today, we have a few updates I would like to share with you all. And this is though for those, our life is different. Not everyone has the ability to just sit down and listen to or watch a video right away. So if you are listening to Hoy En Día TV, thank you for subscribing and listening to us on all the different platforms that we are on. So as of today, the Jackson County District Attorney has confirmed that once the investigation is complete, the case will be presented to a grand jury. Now, that's some red flags right there. The case is going to be presented to the grand jury. So let's put on our thinking hats. The case is going to be presented to a grand jury, which tells me that something interesting and deep and profound has been found, right? Also, the DA emphasized that this is not by itself an indication that criminal charges will be filed, which I guess I got to say that's to cover themselves. The Wells family attorney, Ben Crump, confirmed this followed a meeting between the family and the DA. The Wells family and prosecutors have agreed to jointly inspect and download data from Nolan Wells' cell phone as part of the ongoing investigation, with both the family's team and law enforcement participating in the review. There remains no verified public release yet of the cause of death, manner of death, toxicology, official autopsy, and conclusion of the autopsy. Also, FBI is now assisting, right? So let me pause there because earlier they're saying that it doesn't mean that criminal charges will be filed, but now the FBI is getting involved. Like,
why?
You see the pattern that I'm trying to present here? It's like if there's no criminal nothing happening, then why is FBI being charged? Why is this being taken to a grand jury? Does it really take a rocket science to put two and two together here? I mean, really? So specifically regarding threats made in connection with the case, local authorities remain the lead investigative agency, but the FBI confirmed that it is providing assistance. Wells' family has formally agreed with the Jackson County District Attorney to jointly inspect, and we already said that with the cell phone. District Attorney has reaffirmed that the completed investigation will be presented to a grand jury. So pretty much the updates that I just shared, it looks like the double updates that's of today, that's still there. So any thoughts from either of you with regard to that?
I heard his attorney live on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show earlier in the week. And he was just saying, because they're still waiting for evidence to come in. He can, of course, talk about a lot of stuff on the radio. But he said that, they just want a fair, they wanted things to be done in decency and in order, right? So when a child goes missing or a child is murdered or killed or unalived, I'm sorry for saying that, but all of these things, right? Things need to be done in decency and order. So he was saying, like, when the incident was reported, if it had been someone different, per se, that, you know, the police would have automatically went around to get statements to talk to everybody. No one was being talked to. You know what I'm saying? And he was saying, like, the other thing was like, you know, the reports and things that they were writing up, they were kind of like incomplete, and stuff like that. And he's just saying that so many things should have took place that didn't take place. It didn't seem like anything was going by procedure and by protocol. And the family just wants like just a fair, you know, step-by-step due process. They want a due process, a fair step-by-step due process for when these things are reported, right? When these incidences do happen and it results in, you know, a person being unalived and that kind of thing, then, you know, certain things need to happen, and that stuff didn't happen. And so they're asking, why didn't these things happen? Because per protocol, X, Y, and Z, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, and you guys didn't do barely any of this, right? So I do believe that it is something really fishy going on, and I just hope that they get down, you know, to the truth, truly.
No sense of urgency because they were like foul play, so that's why.
Yeah. Also, what got me too is, and this is what I've been thinking about too, the alcohol, right? They're claiming, oh, these teens were drunk. Who was the adult that supplied these teens with alcohol? That person definitely needs to be held liable. They're not 21 yet. And it's interesting because I've been following some of the group chats, and one you could tell she was young. She made a point. She was like, oh, well, in Mississippi, as long they could drink at 18. And I looked up that law quickly. You know me, Inspector Gadget on it. I went under the Mississippi, it was like public code law, whatever. And I even copied everything. I even copied the website. I pasted it back to her. I was like, legally, they still have to be 21. However, if their parent is present and authorizes them, then they could be 18 to 21 range to drink in front of the parent. Not saying that they're going to get intoxicated. However, every parent of every child would need to be present and would need to consent. Not saying Tommy's parent or Susie's parent or whoever's parent was present, now all these kids can drink. No, that's not how it works, right? So people are they're not doing their due diligence. They're just talking out of thin air and not really bringing in facts. And it's really unfortunate because it's just really getting very convoluted with a lot of rumors and speculations. It's just a mess. But yes, I agree go ahead.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a protest going on. Is it this weekend that there's supposed to be like a protest or something for him?
There was a silent march that happened last weekend.
Okay.
This weekend coming up, I believe I heard that though, but I know his burial and funeral services are coming soon. And I believe it's actually Monday, if I'm not mistaken. I can look into that for sure. Because I follow his mom on social media. But yes. While I look for that, any topics you all want to bring up that you want to chat about?
Well, and kind of going in conjunction with this case, there was a lady on TikTok. My husband sent me the video, and there was a little girl. Her name was Janae, I think was the name, if I'm not mistaken, a little girl. And she was a Black child, and her parents, both mom and dad, unalived her. And what the lady was bringing up, she goes, you know, because, you know, she was talking about the Nolan Wells case and things of that nature. But she was saying, you know, we want to be up in arms about protesting about when we think it's someone of a different persuasion, right? A different race. The minority community wants to come together and protest and all these things. But she said, what about when it is a minority, right? And they have unalived or harmed, you know, someone, like in this case with Janae, they unalived their baby girl. And but nobody, I never even heard about this case. I sent it to Nadine. And I was like, I never even heard about this case. And, but like, there's crickets, like no one's up in arms and protesting against that. Like when it's Black on Black crime and all of the things, you know, we talk about it a little bit, but no one's really going to the great lengths, right? To be able to kind of get this stuff under wraps. And then we're not going out there, you know, being up in each other's face, right? About why are you doing this? Why are you hurting your own? Why are you, you know, doing all of these things? And why is that? That shouldn't be, but we want to come together when it's so it purports more of the disparity with the racial, how they always try to pit us against, to divide and conquer. And so the lady made a lot of good points. And I told my husband, I thanked them for sending me the video, because I was like, yeah, I never even heard about this kid. I never heard about this case. And not only that, they put some kind of cleaners and stuff to dissolve, her body. These are her parents, the ones that's supposed to protect her and keep her safe and all these things. And this mom and dad, they're both in on this. And I don't really know like how they found out what had happened. I didn't go that deep because it disturbed me so much. I was just like,
Was it the neighbors who found them or called the cops, or I forgot how?
I couldn't read anymore. But check it out. It's there. They had a whole news thing about it. I just never seen it. Just and I'm like, why isn't our community upset about that?
I couldn't look at the rest of it. It was, especially a young kid too. Like, that's crazy.
You know what's so interesting? Who's the main one that always harps about birth control? Parents like that should have been on birth control. Those two specific, man and woman, should have been on birth control. They do not deserve to be parents. That's why I always say, please, if you are not physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually aligned and ready to be a parent, do not be a parent.
And there are so many people out here, who want kids, can't have kids, and there are these parents that just don't give a damn about their kids.
Yep.
I still vote for people to have freedom of choice when it comes to that. But I would say if there was some sort of solution, if people could be vetted to have kids in a sense, like go under a psychological evaluation, right? To make sure there's a sound mind and body. You know what I'm saying? To make sure you fit. Military, we do it. Before we go to war, we have to go through a whole psychological evaluation before we go into war and when we come back, right? And so that should be taking place. I think that should be a part of responsible people. You know what I'm saying? They would probably be all on board for this kind of thing. But if it was some kind of law, just to kind of vet people, even when it came to like buying guns, because for the longest time with purchasing weapons, you didn't have to have any kind of psychological evaluations. And some states are now saying, hey, we need you to kind of do this questionnaire just to kind of see where you know what I'm saying, to see where you are mentally, because it might send up a flag and we say, no, we can't sell you this weapon, and so the same thing with parenting. It might send up some flags and say, but then what do you do?
Well, what do you do? They could lie on the form if it's a form and not like an actual test where they're tested. People could lie.
But guess what? If they lie, then they're going to do jail time. Because you damaged your child. We did this test and you lied, and guess what? That's jail time. That's the consequence. But you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I've shared that before. So I'm so glad that you and I are there with that vetting process. I love that, because let's think about this real quick, right? If there was that vetting process to really weed out a person or person's mother, father, whomever, individuals, because this happens even in the foster system. I feel bad for some of these foster kids too. Individuals in general who want to be a parent or a foster parent or whatever type of, that takes care of a child, they should be vetted, because one, that to me personally, if they're growing up in a healthy, loving, and prosperous household, that's going to be less likely for them to pour out negativity into the community, whether that be with, reducing crime rates because they grew up in a loving environment, or a situation where they knew right from wrong, right? They were being taught right from wrong. Also just educational wise, right? There's just so many positives that can come out of that vetting process, because we're turning that negative situation into a positive, and now it's getting poured into. To me, the numbers of positivity is going to increase. And
that's why I say it's so important for us to really stand for, the nuclear family. You know what I'm saying? Having good values and morals and all the things, right? And you get both sides of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? We need that. And if you can have healthier families, mentally, and all the things that you said, right? We are going to produce a better citizen, right? To pour back into our communities, to pour back into schools and businesses and all the things, right? You're just going to make a better person all the way around. And we all say that I know we all want it, but it's like, what are we doing to get that? I know there's some programs out there that really kind of, they say healthy families and stuff like that. But I've even attended some of the things with these healthy family programs. That's a federal thing that they do. And I got to tell you, they say they are all these resources, but yet they have people jump through all of these hurdles just to try to be able to, qualify, for it. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. And I know we always like say, oh, these programs are out there. You see it's online, but you don't qualify for it. Something's always going to almost always knock you out of the box, right? And so we have to begin to change that. Because I just think that truly that people just want to have it out there, but not truly give you the access to it. You know what I'm saying? Still prevent you in some kind of way to really, truly gain that access that you need to be able to thrive and produce and be that citizen, right? That's going to give back into our community. So we don't have all the answers, just some suggestions out there, because even with, the vetting process, and then you say, okay, red flag, you shouldn't have kids. I mean, how do you stop that? You know what I'm saying? Because you can't go and neuter people, right? Like you do animals, spade and neutering and all this stuff. You can't, you can, but God forbid, we shouldn't. So that's like a whole thing for discussion. But for the audience out there, we would love to hear your comments and your thoughts on this very topic. I think this is a very poignant, topic that should be discussed a bit further.
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. All right. So with that being said, we're going to do a quick sponsor break. We're going to pivot over shortly to our guests. So don't go anywhere. Hoy En Día TV. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect shirt for that special occasion? At Collective Custom Wear, we bring your vision to life. From weddings, family reunions, anniversaries, or casual outing with friends, express yourself with your unique style and leave a memorable mark. Order now. Our custom shirts are designed just for you.
A bold builder of people, purpose, and platforms, Girls with Gigs helps high performers and those desiring to achieve more shift mindsets and activate purpose. Whether it's career or leadership development, personal branding, or knowing your worth. In the job market, transformation has never been closer, because this is where purpose meets action and dreams become destiny. Book your free consultation today at www.girlswithgigs.com.
At Cab Zenza, we believe beauty is a ritual, not just a routine. Rooted in intention and inspired by nature, our skincare is crafted to nourish more than just the skin. It nourishes the spirit. Every jar is made with purpose, because when you flourish inside, it shows on the outside. Cab Zenza's isn't skincare, soul care.
From the moment that I put this Cab Zenza on my skin, it feels most amazing. As you can see, it has your skin glistening, it's moisturizing. You too should get Cab Zenza.
Luxurious body butters.
Yes, if you have not ordered your luxurious body butter, what are you waiting for? Come on, you got to keep your skin healthy, hydrated, and nourished. So, yes. Also, purpose. We are all here on purpose. And if you still don't know your purpose, that's A-okay, because I know someone who can help you. She is right here with us today, Dr. Sandra, the Actionist. So sign up, Girls with Gigs, Inspired for Purpose. She will get you right. Yes. Also, custom shirts. Hey, we got our Hoy En Día custom shirts. I see Cece has We Don't Wait, We Create on. Nadine has Hoy En Día. Yes, we are repping our shirts, custom shirts, whether you have a birthday, anniversary, a wedding party, whatever it is, and you want a custom shirt, reach out to Collective Custom Wear. We gotcha. All right, so let's pivot over to our amazing guest here. All right, let's see. On this episode today, we welcome our guest, founder and CEO of CW Dressings, an award-winning service disabled veteran-owned food company specializing in premium date fruit-infused sauces, dressings, and seasonings. A native of Jacksonville, North Carolina, our guest joined the U.S. Army in February of 2001 and dedicated more than 20 years to military service. Throughout his distinguished career, he served in several leadership roles, including Senior Culinary Management Non-Commissioned Officer, Enlisted Aide, Dining Facility Manager, Senior Drill Sergeant, and First Sergeant. While serving as an Army Master Sergeant at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, our guest founded CW Dressings in September of 2020. The company was born from his passion for creating bold, sophisticated flavors using health-conscious and thoughtfully selected ingredients. As he prepared to retire from military service in 2001, Argras pursued his lifelong dream of entrepreneurship. Inspired by the natural sweetness and nutritional qualities of Deglet Noor dates. Ooh, I hope I said that right. He developed a unique line of products designed to elevate everyday meals while offering cleaner and more mindful ingredient options. Today, CW Dressings has grown from a small startup into a recognized specialty food brand available in more than 60 retail locations across the country. From the Carolinas to California, its expanding product line includes award-winning flavors such as date balsamic vinaigrette, sweet date hot sauce, which is one of my favorites, actually, that one, date barbecue sauce, and date all-purpose seasoning. Our guest remains personally involved in every aspect of the company, from developing new products and hand-picked orders to attending farmers markets and building meaningful relationships with customers. His hands-on leadership reflects the values at the heart of CW Dressings, which is quality, innovation, service, authenticity, and community. Under his leadership, the brand has become known for creating upscale flavored experiences that make gourmet cooking approachable and accessible. Its mission is simple: to combine bold taste, natural ingredients, and culinary creativity in products that bring something memorable to every table. When customers support CW Dressings, they're supporting more than a company. They are supporting a powerful story of military service, resilience, entrepreneurship, and the courage to transform a dream into a growing national brand. Join us today in this inspiring conversation with our guest Christopher J. Whitehurst, about his military journey, the transition into entrepreneurship, the inspiration behind CW Dressings, and what it takes to build a business rooted in purpose, passion, and exceptional flavor. Welcome to Hoy En Día TV.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you, sir?
Hey, hello. I'm doing all right.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it. All right. So I usually start with my $1 million question. I read an amazing bio, so thank you for sharing that with us. But in a nutshell, who do you say you are?
I'm a son, brother, father, husband, papa, veteran, entrepreneur. I'm still evolving.
Hey, that's A-okay. We're all still evolving, right? Every day we wake up is an opportunity to continue to grow and evolve. So it is A-okay.
Oh,
Yes. All right. So before we dive into this, not sure what that was. Tell us a little bit more about who you are beyond the veteran chef and entrepreneur. Pretty much, let's go ahead and dive into that, because that to me is an interesting transition. I know you started in the military when you were in Culinary, and now you decided to transition when you retired. So tell me how that process worked for you.
Transitioning for me was fairly simple. I was ready to get out. I was ready to do other things. One thing I knew for certain is that when I did retire, I did not want to get a job. I did not want to punch a time clock. I felt 20 years of being told where to be, what to put on was enough. And although, having your own business is literally a job, there's a saying that says, when you own a business, you work more than 9 to 5. And that is definitely true, because I work sometimes 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, including driving all over North Carolina. So the military really gave me, the discipline that I needed to fulfill this journey. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'm curious about the Deglet Noor dates. I hope I'm right.
Yes,
so
Deglet Noor.
Me, who's not fully familiar with the date, this type of date, what makes them so special in terms of flavor, and how do you use them in your recipes?
So in the U.S., you're typically going to see two variations of dates. It's either the medjool date or the deglet nor date, which is the one I use. They're both pretty much the same, except they're different in size. And the medjool date is a lot sweeter. The deglet nor date is not as sweet. Actually, when I first started, the date balsamic vinaigrette was my first product. And I actually started with the medjool date, but upon many samples that I created, I felt that the dressing was too sweet, so I went back to the deglet nor. And most dates that you see here in the U.S., they're mainly imported from other countries. The only place in the U.S. where dates grow is California and Arizona.
That's good to know. That's a fun fact. So,
Yeah,
Arizona and California.
that's right.
Oh, okay. All right. I do have some other questions, but I'm going to spotlight Cece to ask her questions, followed by Nadine, and they'll come back to me.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is awesome. So I want to know, I was kind of writing some things down as she was talking. So what kind of got you into creating, right, these different recipes for these dressings and things of that nature? Like, are you like an avid cook, to kind of do all these things? What kind of was the catalyst for all of that?
In the Army, I was actually a culinary chef, general's aide. I cooked for a few generals. I ran a few dining facilities. So cooking was pretty much my thing. Also growing up, my father, who served in the Marine Corps, was a chef as well. So that's kind of where it all started. One day when I was stationed at Fort Jackson as a drill sergeant, I went into my first Whole Foods and I came across dates. And at that time, I was trying to eat more healthier. I was eating more salads, more vegetables, and I really began to read labels. And I realized that salad dressing has a lot of unnecessary ingredients in it when you read it. Big companies, like for instance, a vinaigrette made by a big company will have a lot of vinegar in it because, for one, vinegar is cheap. They're trying to fill the bottle, so vinegar is cheap. A lot of times they have two variations, sometimes three variations of oils in a salad dressing. So, I started to read labels, and for a time I would just buy dates and I would cut them up and put them on my salad. So one day while eating a salad with dates on it, I wondered, was there a date salad dressing? Because I liked the combination, the sweetness with the lettuce, the carrots, the veggies, maybe a little oil. So I took it upon myself to create my own version. Made it for myself for about 2 years. My wife wouldn't eat it. She didn't like it. But I made it for 2 years, and I kind of just sat on that recipe. And like I tell people, creating CW dressings wasn't something that I set out to do. It sort of just happened. And it started with coming across dates at Whole Foods.
So what about now? Are there any dressings that, does she like the dressing now? Or have you kind of changed it a little bit for her to kind of get,
She still does not eat the dressing. I mean,
Okay.
every once in a while, she's a bigger fan of the date barbecue sauce.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. So being, in the food industry and stuff like that, did you have to go through any kind of FDA channels, like to get things approved to be, or is it like, because is your product in stores?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So how does that, because I've always wondered this, right? So
Okay.
tell us how that actually comes about. How do you you had the passion, you had the dream, you followed it, you created it, and now you want to get it in the stores on the shelves. Walk us through a day in the life, like how that actually takes place and how that happens.
Okay. So, I can answer that question 100 ways, but I'm going to do my best to try to stick to exactly what you asked. So I would like to say, for anyone wanting to start a sauce business, there's maybe 2 to 3 main routes you can take. But a lot of the regulatory guidance starts with your state. Either first you got to make the decision, am I going to make these sauces myself? Am I going to make them in my kitchen? Am I going to go to a commercial kitchen? Am I going to pay a co-packing company to make my sauces? So I started out making my sauces from home, and the only one that I physically made was the balsamic vinaigrette, my very first ingredient. But early on, I'm talking like after a month of making 100 bottles a week, I was like, okay, I can't continue to do this. I want to run a business, not, be in the kitchen. There's other aspects to running a business that take up a lot of time, and being in the kitchen is just not one that I wanted to do. So I knew right then that I needed to find a co-packer to make my product for me. So once I did that, a lot of the regulatory stuff the co-packer takes care of. I just mainly had to give him the ingredients. They had to duplicate it, show me that they can make my recipe. And once that is done, they send the samples off to the state for testing. And you get your acidity results, and you also get your ingredients panel. So it's a lot easier than what one may think, starting a sauce company.
Yeah, that's great. That gives me hope, because I thought it was like all this red tape and all this stuff. Because you see so many products like in our grocery stores and things of that nature. And I've always wondered, like, what is the steps, right, to really get that product out into the stores? And then I also know, like, I'm not sure where your product is on the shelves, and I didn't know if there was like a certain number, or that your company has to gross in order for you to kind of pick that shelf space or something like that, because it's all about marketing as well. And when people go in like of an average height, when they do all these things, I didn't know this was like a whole science, right? But I was looking into this stuff, and I'm like, this is so amazing. But yeah, things that are eye level and stuff, like you don't want things on the top shelf, but you don't want it on the bottom shelf either. So you kind of want that middle. And when I went in, I was looking at cereal, and typically the vendor with the cereal is General Mills. And why yes. General Mills? Well, because they have more varieties of cereal, and they probably make a lot of money too, but they have a great variety. And so I didn't know if that was a thing, like, is it variety? Is it, your company has to gross a certain amount of money? What are the factors, right? Do you know what the factors are that allows you to be like in that kind of eye level, that optimal shelf space in the markets?
Yeah. So a lot of it really depends on, is your product going to sell? Are the consumers going to actually purchase your product? How much marketing dollars are you putting into your business to get your product out there in front of the consumers and the buyers? And as you mentioned, the consumer packaged goods industry is, it's pretty deep. Me, I'm a growing company. The 60 plus stores that we are in are local business stores. So we're not in like, a Fresh Market or a Harris Teeter or a Sprouts. And unfortunately, I'm not necessarily keen on if that's the route I want to take within the next 2 to 3 years. I do a lot of in-person events. We do a lot online sales. We do sell through Walmart and Amazon's platform. So we do fairly well, through the channels that we are currently in. But maybe in the future, we may set out to, contact or be shelved in some of the more, larger box stores. It really just depends.
I'm so proud of you. Over 60 stores. That's like really amazing. And it is a big decision to determine whether or not you want to go into the big box stores or not, because I find myself wanting and desiring to shop more at our local vendors, the small businesses and things of that nature, because the quality of food, I believe, is better that comes to my table versus in these big, mega stores and stuff like that, because the food has been so compromised. Here in the US of A. I'm not sure if you all knew or not, and this will be my last little bit, and I'll pass it to Nadine because I'm about to take over the whole show. Right? I'm so excited. But so with the World Cup, right? If people from all over, they're here in the US, so they're getting to experience all the goodness of the US, right? But Norway, right? Norway actually flew in their food. They would not eat the American food because of all of stuff that we allow in our stuff, all the poison, let's just call it what it is, right? It's poison, right? All the things that we allow in our food. And I found that to be very, very interesting. And so with a company like yours being in the, the smaller mid-sized, stores, I just think that those stores have more quality products and that you really can kind of vet a lot better and kind of even maybe determine, like if you have a table or like an end cap, where it's kind of placed in the stores, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just depending on the relationships that you build, with those companies and the owners and that kind of thing. So I just applaud you. One, thank you for your service, like Nadine said, but just being that entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is very, very, very tough. And people don't understand or think about that stuff. Like you mentioned the number of hours that you work. People be like, what are you talking about? And it's probably more than that. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about it, if you had to write down all the things that you had to do in a day-to-day. And so my final last question, I promise, is it. How do you balance it all, right? Having to, work for yourself, be the family man, do all the things like, how do you really just kind of bring it all, center and balance everything that you do?
I would have to say that's something that I actually picked up and learned from the military. I had a sergeant major. I was venting to him one day when I was a dining facility manager. Because when you're in that environment, you're probably running a dining facility that feeds maybe 1,000 soldiers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have a staff of about 15 to 20 food service personnel, plus, a lot of different things that needs to happen within that environment. So I was venting one day and about everything I had to do and that I just can't get everything done. And he said, he gave me this theory about two balls. He said, you have a bouncy ball and you have a glass ball. Situations that fall into the bouncy ball category, you just continue to bounce it. It's going to bounce until you get to it. So don't worry about it. But then you have glass ball situations. Those are the ones that if you drop it, it's going to break. So though, take care of those first. And you're absolutely right. Family, running a business, taking care of the household, things like that. I kind of just let it all fall into play. The way that I'm set up is that I don't really worry or complain or, nothing really gets to me a whole lot. And I think that's a blessing. And sometimes it may be a curse as well. But I handle the heat very well. So if that answers your question.
Indeed. Thank you. Nadine?
Yes. So by the way, entrepreneurs work 24 hours. So there's no limit time. You could have a store and you get a sale at 3:00 in the morning. You hear the ding on your phone. Oh, let me go charge that sale. So entrepreneurs do work 24 hours.
Oh yes.
Anyway,
I still pack orders myself. So
exactly, and you do it all weeks of the morning, right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So, which CW dressing product should a first-time customer try and why?
I would say for a first-time customer, they should get acquainted with our flagship product, which is our date balsamic vinaigrette. It's very versatile. It's clean ingredients. It is sweetened only with dates. It is also made with extra virgin olive oil, no soybean oils, no canola oil. This overall clean, healthy product that's very versatile. You can use it on salad, salmon, Brussels sprouts, caprese salad. You can use it as a meat marinade, drizzle it over pizza, avocado toast. So, the list goes on. And that's one thing that I really paid attention to when I started creating my products. I wanted something that was very unique, very different, but also very versatile. And ultimately, I told myself early on, if I couldn't make a product that wasn't already made, I didn't want to make anything. Because as you know, when you look at the shelves, there are tons of sauces out there. And we're all using the same ingredients. some of us aren't even using ingredients; we're using chemicals. Or so I was really in tune to what I was putting in the product and what I wanted to share with the consumers.
And how many products are there for CW?
So we have 5 products all together: the date balsamic vinaigrette, sweet date hot sauce, the date barbecue sauce, our date all-purpose seasoning, which is our newest product. It just came out maybe a month ago. And we also sell organic deglet nor dates.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just located in North Carolina?
Yes. So we sell all over. We're in stores from North Carolina all the way to California, Virginia, Kentucky. I don't really chase the stores a whole lot, but
Right.
if a store, wants our product, then we'll definitely make it happen to get our products in their store.
Are there any products in Georgia?
Right offhand, there is. I can't remember the name of the location, but we are in a store in Georgia. Matter of fact, near I want to say somewhere near Evans, Georgia.
I don't know where that is. I would have to look it up. Yeah. So what has been the biggest challenge in growing your business like nationwide?
The biggest challenge is learning the ins and outs of the consumer packaged goods industry. There's a lot to learn, especially when you want to, start moving into bigger retail box stores. You have to deal with freight. You have to deal with, shipping costs, placement costs. So this is something that I've been learning over the years. I started the business in 2020, about 6 months before I retired. So my number one source of learning has been, the internet, YouTube, AI, asking other condiment brand business owners. I'm just trying to surround myself within that community to learn the ins and outs. And trying to figure out, when should we scale and try to grow. I don't want to force growth. I think it's going to happen naturally. It's nothing I definitely want to rush the process and get in over my head.
I'm telling you, man, people are going to sleep on YouTube University and AI University. There's so many people here charging thousands of dollars for master classes, and that's how they're making money through these master classes. But the real deal is you could get so many information on YouTube and AI.
Oh, yes.
Don't go to sleep on those. So one thing, I know you have your products in multiple states or regions. Well, is it nationwide or just is it worldwide or just nationwide?
Nation.
So to put your products on all the and to my understanding, I know that there are some platforms where you could put your products on one specific platform, and a multitude of vendors are on there looking at your products. Is that the case?
Yes, we do that as well. We're on Fair. We sell our products on Scentsy. We're on Walmart website, Amazon website, and we're on multiple other platforms, like you mentioned, where you list your product, and retail stores are able to see your product, and if they want it, they just reach out to you. Maybe there's a fee that the platform charges, things like that. I'm actually thinking about uploading to eBay and maybe Temu as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And I have one last question. So how has your military leadership influenced the way you run your business today?
I get things done.
That's right.
Plain and simple. I'm getting it done. No matter the situation, if it has to be done, it's going to get done. And one thing I want to add is that when you look at CW dressings as a whole, and if you're able to, if you haven't already, when you look at our website, when you look at the design, the label design, the ingredients, the recipes, all that was done by me and AI, my overworked employee.
Yeah.
But
What about that?
my overworked employee with no pay, nothing, no benefits. But everything, every single aspect of this business has been done pretty much by me. But also, I'm smart enough to know that at some point there is going to have to be a pivot, because I do not want to be that point of failure as well. So at some point, I am going to have to get out of my own way and pivot and do things a bit different in order to, manufacture growth. So I'm well aware of that. I want to, within the next year or two, I want to hire an employee. This year, I was able to move a majority of my stock and inventory out of my garage. We have a small warehouse now. So, we're moving in the right direction. Like I mentioned before, it's nothing that I want to rush, but, I'll be, but I'm also putting a time stamp on it, because I'll be 50 this year. I don't want to be 75 doing this, At that age, I want to be, reaping the rewards, or maybe even, have sold the company by then. So.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yes, this is a great conversation. Thank you so much for just being open and transparent. Also, let me ask you this. For many veterans, because people, from what I've heard, fellow veterans experience like uncertainty, right? They don't know what to do after leaving the service, especially transitioning into civilian life. So what really helped you redefine your identity and the sense of purpose after that retirement? Is it because you already had the experience in the culinary art field in the, while being in the military?
For me, I'm just a driven individual.
Mm-hmm.
Leading up to my retirement, about a year out, I would say maybe a year to 8 months out, no, I did not know what I was going to do.
Okay.
Once I retired. But as I mentioned before, I knew I was not going to fill out an application anywhere. I knew that. I knew I wanted to own my own business. I didn't know what that business was going to be. I could have been, cutting grass, or, but I would have been the best grass cutter out there. CW dressings kind of, it just fell into place. It just happened. And I mentioned earlier that with the date balsamic vinaigrette, I actually created that recipe about 2 years prior to my retirement. And I kind of just sat on the recipe because it was only something I made for myself. After leaving Fort Jackson, I came back to Fort Bragg, and we had a potluck. And this is a little bit of the founder story. So we came back to Fort Bragg, and I came back to Fort Bragg to retire because I knew I did not want to proceed with the military once I hit 20 years. So we had a potluck at work. I'm sure you all know what a potluck is. Everybody brought their item. I brought salad and my salad dressing. That was what I brought. And the soldiers, they were like, wow, this is really good. I've never had anything like it. You should sell it. That was the first time the idea of selling the salad dressing that I made and sat on for 2 years hit me, as to the point of, oh, this is probably what I could do when I retire. So if it wasn't for bringing it to work one day, and if it wasn't for everyone's eyes lighting up as they taste it and me seeing their faces and all their comments, I don't know what I would be doing, but I wouldn't be at a job. I can tell you that much. But that's pretty much, the founder story. And then this was still in the middle of COVID, because this was September 2020. A few months later, I created the hot sauce. I was like, hey, dates are really working with the vinaigrette. People love it. let me make a hot sauce. So I made the hot sauce. A year after that, I made the barbecue sauce. So once I did my market research and I realized that dates are a superfruit, and dates are also fruits that they're just not widely used as an ingredient. You know, you go to your supermarket and you will see dates in a container, but you don't see dates in other items. And it goes back to, if I'm going to do this, I have to make something that's different, because if I can't, I'm not making anything, because everyone's using the same ingredients. And I created CW dressings to be a bit more sophisticated, a little more upscaled. I wanted it to be the how could I say, the Mercedes-Benz, the BMW of sauces. Yeah. So long term, will you see CW dressings on Walmart shelves, on Food Lion shelves? Probably not, because I don't think those box store brands are the places we want to be. I'm gearing up more toward Whole Foods, Fresh Market, Wegmans, box store locations like that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. And I love that story that you shared with us. That really helps me put it into perspective, like the backstory and how you brought salad with, you know, your dressing, and everybody loved it. Like that's a really good founder story. I love that. Yes. So what's next for CW dressings? Are there any new flavors that you're thinking about, and new products, partnerships, expansions? Because I know you gave us kind of a glimpse about the Mercedes-Benz of dressings, right? So what's next?
Yeah. So we have a lot of things in the works. Next month, we will be filming a cooking episode with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. We also would be doing a live demo cooking show at the North Carolina State Fair. If that one pans out, I'm not quite sure yet. But as far as products, we're going to stop with the 5 products for now. I think that's enough. But we do want to expand. As for the name CW Dressings, I kind of left it open, because I tell people we're not a salad dressing company. We're not a hot sauce company. We're not a barbecue company. You know, we're a gourmet condiment sauce company. So within that, you know, who knows? We may be, you know, moving in different routes, different products. But we have a lot of things in the works. Just continue to grow.
Okay.
I have one question. Are you in the PXs, the exchanges, the PXs on the military bases?
I've spoken to them, yes. But it's at this time, it's not a place I want to be.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's, you know, getting on the shelf is just the beginning.
And I know it's hard to get, you know, to work with the military bases. Very difficult. I know. Yeah,
it is. And getting on the shelf is just the beginning. There's a long road ahead after you get on the shelf. That's when it actually starts. That's just the beginning. And like I said, it goes back to, you know, marketing dollars, advertisements, things like that. So we're in a good spot right now. And I'm gonna sit here for a little while.
I think Chef Ramsay needs to get a hold of your dressing.
Oh yeah, Chef Ramsay. And I won't deny that at all. Chef Ramsay, Oprah, hey, all of them need it.
Are you a certified veteran-owned business?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's phenomenal.
Oh yes.
And I wanted to ask one last thing. When you say clean ingredients, right? Just for the audience, right? I know what that is, but when you say clean ingredients, can you tell our audience what that actually means?
So clean ingredients is like, for instance, in our date balsamic vinaigrette, there is no other sugars. It is only sweetened by date. So there is no high fructose corn syrup, no soy, no preservatives. Instead of olive oil, canola oil, we use We use extra virgin olive oil instead of soybean oil or canola oil. In fact, one thing I would like to mention is that the barbecue sauce, when I first made the barbecue sauce, it did have high fructose in it. Because at the time, if you ask anyone, their favorite barbecue sauce is Sweet Baby Ray's. So Sweet Baby Ray's has, a lot of their barbecue sauces have high fructose in it. So I put it in mine. But I'm glad to say that we have since removed the high fructose from our date barbecue sauce. And we've also removed the anchovies. So we made it more vegan conscious as well.
That's really awesome. Cool beans. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yes. All right. We are slowly coming to an end, but I do have one last question here. So, what advice would you give to someone who has an amazing business idea, but they're just too afraid to move forward and even begin with it?
I would say definitely. Definitely act on it. But first, definitely do your market research. That is one thing that I didn't do in the very beginning. I didn't know everything that it took to run a sauce company. I just knew that people love the date balsamic vinaigrette, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a business. But there is a lot involved. I mean, you have to do your market research. You have to calculate ingredients. You have to determine if you're going to make it yourself or hire a co-packer. So with each step, you're giving away pieces of your margins when it comes to that. And also find a mentor or someone within that industry that you can ask questions of. I do that a lot. But definitely, if you have an idea, I would say act on it, but do your market research.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We're actually going to go on a quick sponsor break, so y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and then we're going to go into our last minute word segment. So get up there, stay right there. Don't go anywhere, right? Hey.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessierodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy En Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
Yes, shout out to all of our amazing sponsors, Collective Custom Wear, Collective Wear. We have Cabzenza Buddy Butter. Make sure to knock at Nadine's door because she will hook you up. Yes, Inspired for Purpose. Make sure to knock at Cece's door. She will hook you up. I mean, come on now. We have it here. So go and, what are you waiting for? Don't wait any longer. We got resources here, right? Also, we got CW Dressings as our guest, and I can personally vouch because I love the hot sauce. Like, I have a thing for spicy hot sauce. I tasted it. It's one of my favorite sauces. So just tell you, y'all gotta check it out. All right, yes. So this is a point in our segment where we are last minute words, and this is where anything that comes to mind, whether it is a quote or pretty much anything, something inspirational. Remind people definitely how to find you, follow you, where they can connect with you, website, etc. Whatever your heart desires, whatever God puts in your heart to say, this is the opportunity to do that. So in order to get a glimpse of how that looks, I'm going to have Cece start first. CW, you're going to go second, Nadine third.
Go.
All right, we got a puppy in the background. I love it. I love dogs. So hey, I'm your girl, Tiandra, the Actions with Inspire for Purpose, and Girls with Gigs, where we equip, empower, and help you execute, right, your mission. We are solutionists. We help you put it into action, right, by getting it done daily. And remember this, the greatest victory, this is new for me, the greatest victory is not conquering others, right? It's simply mastering yourself under God's guidance. So leave this earth empty, for it means you have fulfilled your destiny. So remember, as always, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Awesome.
All right, Chris, it is your turn.
All right, so I'll just share where you can find CW Dressings products. We do ship through our website. We are located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. If you go to our location tabs, you can see all the retail locations that sell our products. But we are on Instagram, Facebook at CW Dressings, and our website is cwdressings.com. And one thing I also want to add is that CW Dressings is more than just a sauce. Our products were made to make meals better. They're very versatile, clean ingredients. And just because a product is on the shelf at a big box store doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy and that it's good for you.
All right. So yeah, Nadine Barton here. You could find me on Facebook. My name, Nadine Barton, Instagram. If you'd like to get a copy of any of my books, you could go to nadinebarton.com or check out my website, Nadine, theauthor.com. So I always say every dream has an entry point. Every dream has an entry point, a decision. So you decide which decision and which way you want to go. So you guys have a good one.
Yes, but another amazing show today. Thank you all for tuning in, for watching. I am Yessie Rodriguez. For those who want to find me and follow me, just go on Google, type in Yessie Rodriguez. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram. Let's see. Make sure to find us also on different streaming platforms. Hoy En Día TV podcast, also Googleable. Hoy En Día TV podcast. You can see us on Apple Music, Samsung Music, Spotify, iHeart. We're in different RSS and Deezer and just a bunch of different ones, praise God. So yes, the platform is growing. So here we are. And for those who want to be guests on Hoy En Día TV, we welcome you with open arms. Simply email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. It is scrolling at the bottom of your view, of your screen view. hoyendiatv@gmail.com. Also, you can go on my website, yessierodriguez.com, select the Hoy En Día section. And for those who want to be generous and donate to Hoy En Día TV, there is a donation link as well. And also sponsor packages are available. Just email Hoy En Día TV for more information about that. So thank you all for tuning in to Hoy En Día. It has been another amazing show. Gracias. And like I always say, the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. Until next time, see y'all later.